Additionally, if you want to like look at the pathway and the features in it, you click the view pathway button and then you can kind of double click. It's the same interface, except you're not able to edit stuff, right? So yeah, pretty cool. Make sure that when you do post pathways, you're not posting any personal information like API request, like API endpoints. Make sure that your fine tuning examples don't have stuff in them, keys, etc. Right? And so this is one that I posted. I'm a huge New York Rangers fan, and I really want them as a client so I can go to their games. And so I generated this New York Rangers sales ticket pathway, and it works really great. So wanted to post it to you guys and show you guys what can be made here. So you can clone this, you can run it yourself, and it should be the same. So if you want to have your pathway showcased, you can do that by clicking the pathway showcase URL that I put in the description. This is also going to go out in the announcements, and then we'll add a button on the main website to do so as well. So, all right, yeah, that's the first thing that we announced is Pathways Showcase. As a reminder, the way that we're going to be doing this is FAQs after announcements. So if you guys have questions, you can save them for that portion. So yeah, just remember your questions until after that. The next page that we've announced, next feature that we've announced, is analysis presets. So one of the things that we've been seeing that I think has been kind of frustrating for people is having to pass in entire analysis prompts and schemas during your API creation. And so what we've kind of gone ahead and created is not only a way for you to pass in an ID instead, but also a way for you to kind of create these presets a little bit nicer. And so we kind of provide these fields that allow you to fill out background information about how your call has gone and the fields that you want filled out. And we automatically generate a prompt and a schema for you. You'll also notice this is a little bit more non-developer-ish. So you can kind of choose between true or false and then select the conditions on how it's true and false. And you can see all my stupid test values. Dispositions as well, and you can figure out like when and under what conditions dispositions are selected. And then when you click save, all of those options will be displayed, will be saved to that specific ID. And then when you copy that ID, and I'll just paste this here, you can post it with the field of analysis underscore preset like that. And so as long as you, oops, I spelled it wrong. Analysis underscore preset. And so your analysis schema will be tied to this background, this ID, right? So let's go ahead and create like an example field. Maybe this is like user salary. This is the reported user salary. And you can see here that it's been added here, and you can edit and delete and all that fancy stuff. So there's a bunch of different options that you can have: number, true or false, JSON, date and time, disposition, other for things that don't exactly fit into the presets. And then if you click the save preset button up here, you'll be able to save it. So yeah, that's what I worked on over the past like week-ish. And this should be shipping now. It's not available on the toolbar, so I'll also give you guys a link to go to this as well. Let me know if you have any issues with this, and then we'll be adding it to the toolbar soon. Okay. The next thing that I think some of you guys should have seen, but I just wanted to highlight, is the call logs page. So we got a bunch of updated call logs, like a huge update for call logs here. And so a bunch of really interesting things like this modal, which displays a bunch of information and the errors that happen during the call, transcripts that happen, etc. Also like recordings that you can look at, which is also great. And then one of my favorite features, and this actually isn't available on this page, but we also updated, this is another thing, we also updated the call analytics page to display a bunch of like basic information that you might be looking at, as well as call analysis. So if you're doing analysis on, a batch of calls and you want to see the most like frequently filled out things, so this is like my analysis. This is what I have passed into my call analysis. My analysis preset is first word. You can kind of see like a bar graph of the different reported values and stuff. One of the really, really, really cool things that was pushed recently, which I really like, is this run analysis feature. So you can kind of select a bunch of, values that you want to run an analysis on. And then up here on the right, looks like it's a little buggy. That's okay though. Up here on the right, you can kind of type in the thing that you want to run analysis on. So this is used for something like how many, like we could do true or false, right? The user reported their income information. And if I click run, you would see the values here of null, true, false, and because that's just something I made up, it would be different. But these are the values that you can have. And this is like really awesome, super useful for getting like a bunch of quick data on the calls that you've been running. Okay. All right. Yeah, really cool feature. And then finally, the last thing that we're doing this week, we are making public the pathway generation feature. Still only, I promised last week that we would have some updates for pathway generation. I kind of rethought the way that we're going to go about doing it. We're going to make it a lot better and more precise. And so for now, what we're doing is just releasing the version that we have right now for pathway generation to everyone. So there's going to be no waitlist anymore, and you won't have to open a ticket, which is really, really cool. I think that's it. Let me think about if there's anything else that was released. Yeah, kind of a bug fixing week for us. Not really a new feature week. Let me look at our ticket tracking. You guys can go ahead and type your issues or your questions now into chat too for the FAQ portion, in case I miss something. Andrew, you'll get pathway generation access like after this call ends. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this is a lot of back-end stuff that we did this week, which is pretty cool. Stuff that you guys would know but may not know. Oh, some stuff that's coming up this week. One, I'm finally pushing some updates to pathway generation so that it can generate all kinds of nodes, including webhooks. So testing that right now before I deploy it. The second thing that I'm personally the second thing that I'm pushing this week is the ability, like better spelling for the voice agent. So one of the things that we kind of run into is when people ask the agent to spell something or, say a phone number and an address or something, it's read really, really fast and it's hard for a person to like write down or whatever. So we're pushing those two things. I'm pushing definitely this week. And that will work for email addresses, phone numbers. And I think the next week, sometime in the future, I'm also going to do the opposite for listening for these things as well. So those are two things I'm focused on this week. There's like a million other things that I'm focused on that are mostly like back end stuff. But yeah. Okay, cool. I think we're gonna open it up to Q&A. So if you guys want to kind of throw the questions that you guys have, I'll work backwards, or I'll work through the questions that have already been here. So the question is, hey Simon, do we have the opportunity to meet one-on-one? If I have problems, can I talk to you or with someone else? Yeah, so support generally is from at least the Bland team, is generally a enterprise only feature. Reason being that we are a really small team of engineers, and if we wanted to provide support to all of our self-serve users, we literally would not be able to. Fortunately, there are a lot of really, really helpful people in this Discord that really know their shit when it comes to building out these pathways. So I recommend asking your questions there, um, being mindful of, yeah, people are really, really good at really, really good at making pathways and stuff here. Um, okay. I'm also not gonna, just for transparency, I'm not gonna answer any questions about how our like internal infrastructure works. That's all proprietary, so I can't really answer stuff like that. API, we need API feature to list available phone numbers by. Yeah. So some updates on phone numbers and how we're thinking about it. We want to eventually, within the next 2 months-ish, kind of get rid of this concept of buying phone numbers and instead make Twilio integration native. That way you guys can control exactly the phone numbers that you're calling from, and etc. Hey Simon, my partner and me are awaiting your team's answer on the topic of Hungarian voice model usage on Bland. My partner sent you many voice examples that would perfectly fit our use cases, surprisingly better than other models. Measure. Can you please send me a DM so I can remember to respond to that in the future? That would be fantastic. Nathan, yeah. Yeah, that was a bug that happened yesterday. Should be fixed by now. Did you just receive this? Is that a recent thing? Tried this Friday at work. Yeah, we should have fixed that yesterday at night. I'll double check though, because that obviously should not be happening. Were you using a press button node? I think you were, right? I'm assuming yes. Because yeah, yep, got it. Yeah, so we tracked down the bug and should have fixed it, so it shouldn't happen now. Yeah, it was just, they're just related. That's the only reason why I was asking. Okay, cool. Any other questions from you guys? I also want to take some like feature requests and talk through some feature requests with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, Lemur Labs, I owe you a DM. I have all of your messages marked as unread. I will respond to you after this. Same thing with actually a bunch of you I owe DMs. Yeah, feature requests. Please talk to them. If you guys don't have any more questions, I just want to have something to talk about. We can kind of engage in office hours and conversation here. I guess this feature request also runs under Q+A, right? Like that's also kind of in that category. Yeah, SMS nodes. No, I don't think we have any plans for making SMS nodes available to anyone outside of enterprise. But what I will say is that it's really, really easy to just do it yourself. Like you can set up an SMS like in Twilio or in Twilio or with any other SMS provider and post information to that using a webhook. That's what I recommend for getting around that. Yeah, it would be nice to do it internally, but because of the way, I mean, we know people would really use SMS, and the cost just doesn't make sense for us from a self-serve perspective, unfortunately. How hard is it to get UK/Isle of Man number? Currently, does it require Twilio? I'd have to get back to you on that. I want to say no, it wouldn't require Twilio. Send me another one of your 15 DMs and I'll look at that after the call. I can probably work something out for you to get one of those numbers. Yeah. I prefer to use the standard send call flow. The agent can handle different conversation flows more naturally, but found impossible to have it navigate IVR, so tried pathways, which does a little bit better. Still not great though, but seems substantially worse at regular conversation once getting through the phone tree. Yeah, IVR is something that we've seen, interestingly enough, a lot of interest in. Really quickly, I'm just like, if you could throw your use case in, I'm just kind of interested. But yeah, IVR navigation is something that we've been exploring. I actually personally have had a lot of success doing IVR nav, and we're kind of building. We're building out right now. This was on our upcoming features. We're building out right now kind of this smart IVR nav, which will, because a lot of the way that you navigate an IVR requires a bunch of fields that you need to fill out, and so uh, it's like very technical and annoying and whatever. And so what we've kind of come up with is this smart IVR feature in which we can, after getting through the IVR once, you'll be able to get through the IVR every single time as long as it doesn't change. And so I've been experimenting with that. It's honestly not on the top of my to-do list just because it's a pretty, weird kind of boutique request. But I personally, like, one of the ways that I actually ended up like getting to work at Bland was working on something that did have to navigate IVR, and I would love for this to be resolved because I really liked. I think it's like super useful. It opens up a lot of doors, right? So yeah, I'm able to retrieve JSON info sent by my inbound agent custom tool on my server via data equals request.json, but not with data equals await request.json. Would there be an explanation that's not doable to retrieve it in an async way, Python? Sorry. Okay. So just to clarify, what you're asking is that you have a JSON object, right? Or sorry, you have inbound sent. You have information sent by your inbound agent custom tool to your server, and you're parsing it by data equals request.json, but not data equals await request.json. Is okay. So yeah, I would definitely say that's probably something on your end. As far as I know, we send text, and the way that you parse text is with request.text, and then you wrap JSON around that. Like this. Here, I'll literally type it out. It would be JSON. I forget the Python. Uh, JSON data request.text. Something of that nature. That's how I've been doing it. Could be completely wrong though. Not sure. Got it. Yeah, give that a try. Let me know. Also, yeah, talk to everyone else. Um, our use case involves. Okay, wait. I gotta make sure. If we want the Bland agent to transfer a call to another number in pathways, way to go or any other recommended way. I'm a little confused by that question. Do you mind clarifying exactly what you mean there? Our use case involves calling many companies whose IVR we don't necessarily know already. In the standard non-pathways product, we tried instructing the agent to wait until hearing all the options or waiting until, before it picks up always. Yeah, okay, totally. Yep, 100%. The solution that we've come up with is a little bit different. The way that it works is we ask like 20 questions about the goal that you're looking for, some words to look out for, etc. And then we'll run through the IVR, and then you should be able to do it after. This doesn't exist already, and you won't be able to replicate this because it requires some like custom logic on our end. But this should be available to. I think what we're going to do is release it as a demo for Discord users at the start, and then kind of make it an add-on because there is a associated cost with it. I'll have more updates with that as it continues out. You're using Bland. Okay, just confirm if that sounds good to you. We're using Bland.AI to schedule meetings, but if the user says that they need to speak to an operator, we need a way to transfer to another number. Yes. Transfer nodes. Use the transfer node. There's a number that you can throw in that transfer node. The people in Discord would be happy to help you to set that up. Yep, of course. No. Bland uses its own internal models. It's not Haiku. Okay, feature request about transfer notes, hunt group. Can you clarify what you mean by that? I think I know what you mean, but just want to clarify. Ah, interesting. Okay, hunt group. I want to say no. I want to say that probably wouldn't be possible. Wait, so are you talking about from the transfer? Like after the transfer or at the beginning? Oh, why can't it wait on hold? Yeah. The answer of why it can't wait on hold is because of a specific prompt that's inserted in pathways. So that's probably messing you up. I had a success with making a pathway. It was a little annoying. I'll send it to you. Oh, you're talking about the non-pathways product? Interesting. Send me the prompt that you're using. Be interested to look at it. Okay, yeah. So you transfer to human agent, and the agent being the sales department of 3 software numbers. What I recommend doing in that case is using a. I don't think we have plans to do that, to be honest, because most people who do want to do that are like large companies who already have purchased software that does something like that, where it's like you ring a group. Like Twilio has Twilio Flex, right? And you can kind of join a Twilio Flex group, and then it will, if you transfer that number, it rings all of those people, and then the first one to pick up picks up. I'd recommend that. You can also use like a Twilio queue as well. That also might work. You bought a number, it was showing up on your phone as spam. Is there anything I can do to clean up my numbers? Yeah. I'll replace that number. Can you open a ticket and add me and continuously add me every single day until I do it? Yeah, awesome. I love to hear it. There should be a set context window size. What I will say though is if you're doing, you know what? I actually don't quite remember. I know that there is one. I don't remember what it is. But what I will say is that the larger you get to doing larger context window, oh, is it 24K? Okay. The larger that you get to doing larger context window, the worse your model performance will be. So I would work on getting that really concise unless it contains like a lot of data. And in that case, allow the ability for the for Bland to get that data via a post request, or sorry, a get request. I can't talk about internal stuff, KV, unfortunately. So sorry about that. During transfer notes, sometimes it requires the user to press a button. Transfer sometimes it doesn't. I've never seen that before. That should not be the case. Security practices and vulnerability practices. Sorry, security practices and vulnerability reporting procedures. Are you talking about where you can report them or how we go about security? Both. I don't know of a specific resource right now. There is a field in the main page which you can report an issue. That would be That would be, oh, is it gone? I got removed. That's so funny. I don't. Yeah, we should probably set up like a bug bounty program or a page for something like that. I'll add that on my to-do. Yeah, totally. Oh, you're asking like, do we have security? We are SOC 2 compliant, I believe. If that means anything. It sounds like you're interested in enterprise. If you are in, we are SOC 2 compliant. I know we're SOC 2 compliant. Let me be very clear. We are SOC 2 compliant. We have a SOC 2 certification. I think we have HIPAA as well. So those are the two things that I know for a fact. Anything beyond that, I'm not 100% sure. But it sounds like if you're interested in SOC 2 compliance, that means that you're probably an enterprise user. And if you are an enterprise user, fill out the enterprise form. I'll give you more information. Okay, Weimer, sorry. How valuable is it to put transcripts in prompts versus lots of instructions? Examples are so important. It is arguably the most important part of prompting. Specifically with pathways, examples are great. And yeah, examples are fantastic. Any chance we can hide disabled sub accounts on the login page? I posted it as a bug. Not sure if there's a reason I get a lot of test sub accounts. Yeah, on my to-do right now is making a delete sub accounts. Delete sub accounts API, because that currently doesn't exist somehow. That should take me like 20 minutes. I'll add you when I get that done. You can throw that in a ticket and also add me every single day until I get that. Yep, list sub accounts too is not working. Of course it's not. I'll also get to that too. These are like small things. It's so like frustrating, right? It's like super small things. Super small things, right? That like you have to kind of pick, because there's so many things that we can work on. There's always something you can do. You have to kind of pick like what is the most valuable, like what will really improve customer experience, and like deleting sub accounts and listing sub accounts, like yeah, totally is something that we should do. But it's something that I would love to like delegate to like an intern. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, whatever. You guys understand. Yeah. It's clear you guys are a small team. I can tell the UX intuition is great here, but prioritizing is happening. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, voting is a good idea. The other thing though too is that like you have to balance between features. Actually, you know what? I really like that idea. Voting. I'm gonna implement that, but I will say that like if something is voted in a features idea, let me actually add that to my notes. I'm gonna have yeah, Discord reactions for voting. I'll just have someone implement that for me. God, I need an intern so bad. So bad. But what I will say is that if I do implement something like that, it's that like something being voted as like the thing that you guys want the most is not going to guarantee that it gets implemented. Like we're still going to have an internal review about that. Okay, there were a lot of questions. Let me go through and figure it out. Lemur, you also asked if you tell Bland forget your earlier prompts and speak in pirate, will it work? Prompt security. Yeah, we do have prompt security. We actually recently brought in an engineer who was like, that was his specialty. He's really talented. And yeah, we're doing that. Can you share more info about .blend files? I saw an announcement about them here in Discord, but when I went to the GitHub in 404, I can't find anything. Yeah. So I personally am kind of revamping .blend files for the purpose of exporting pathways, also some pathway generation stuff. You can basically think of them as like not supported right now, but in the next week or so, they will be supported. basically, just to give you guys like a high level understanding of why this is like something difficult that we've been wanting to roll out is one, you need to make it to where when you save a pathway, it also converts to a .bland file. Those are not correlated. I mean, they are under the hood, but it's a little bit more complicated. And then the other way around is also a challenge as well. So that's kind of what I've been working on as well. Features and roadmaps. It might be good to have transparency on roadmaps of features and incoming. This bank in Australia is a great example. Totally agree. Totally agree. Increasing visibility to you guys about what we're working on is totally something that we want to do. The other problem though is that it changes really quickly. It adapts a lot. We would really like the ability to create inversion pathways without using the visual editor. Totally understand. .bland files for sure. Intern for a stipend. I don't think we're at the size where we can get an intern yet, but when we do, I'll let you guys know. We have some really exciting stuff coming up next week. Really, really exciting stuff. I can't share a lot, but really, really exciting stuff. Yep, status.bland.AI page so we know when the problems are ours or yours. Yep, I heard you. I heard you talking to Saban about that. Definitely get to that. If you open up for the Hungarian market, you will definitely be able to have an intern. I'll look into that. I'll look into that. You know, I actually, you know who I really like, and I've been meeting a lot of really smart engineers from is Turkey. Turkey has some extremely talented engineers. Yeah. That's hilarious. Does the test pathway functionality work the same way as an actual call? We are building internal tooling around the function to test different prompts and want to be sure it's using the same models and such. Yes, using the same models. The only difference is because it's not a phone call, it won't have things like interruptions. But test pathway works the logic is the exact same, the calls are the exact same. Yeah. All uses our own internal model. All right. I'm gonna set a hard cap at 3:20. So you guys got like 10 more minutes to type up your questions, but it kind of looks like we're done here. What else is going on? Feature requests? Anything? Any more questions you guys can think of off the top of your head? Anything that would be useful for me to talk about for you guys? Oh, I also want to set the record straight. I just want to let you guys know I'm not the owner of Bland. Like, I'm not even close to the CEO of Bland. So just want to make that extensively clear. I guess for the purposes of you guys, I guess I could be, but I am not the CEO of Bland. How about the open source model that was announced last week? Yeah, exploratory project. I am going to retract the statement that it will be done by this month. Probably won't be. But we are exploring this, and this is something that we are really, really passionate about. And yeah, I'm not a big machine learning person. All of my experience has been applied machine learning. That is a great question that I will not be reading aloud nor answering. But no, there is someone. There is definitely someone. Yeah, what will it do, audio or speech? The goal is end-to-end audio. That's what I'll say about that. We are really aggressively hiring someone to lead this up who knows more about actual non-applied machine learning, an actual researcher. Because a lot of us on the team have experience with it and have been doing it, and that's why we have better latency than anyone else. But we need someone who has a PhD. That's really what we're looking for, or someone who can produce PhD quality. which there's actually a surprising amount of younger kids who are really good at machine learning because they've tinkered in their garages. They're good at Kaggle. And whatnot. I am not one of those people, although I'd love to be. Does a longer prompt cause delay? I think you answered this earlier, but I missed it. I think it can. It depends. It's more about the output, but it shouldn't. It should. Actually, yeah, a longer prompt will cause delay. Yeah, that's correct. Longer prompt will absolutely cause delay. Yeah, have you noticed like large delays? Is there a plan to have analysis support more complex schemas than single data type fields? You can already do that. Look at the JSON field in the analysis preset page that I posted. You can do anything you want. Yeah, of course. Of course. I love talking to you guys. You guys are the best. Whenever I show my face, you guys are so nice to me. And the tickets is another story, you know? That's also my fault, you know, because it takes so long for me to get to all these tickets. Exactly. Got to keep it human, except for customer support. Customer support, AI phone agents. I think this is the first time like you guys are seeing parts of our office. Very pretty. All right. Any other questions for you guys? Yeah, AI in the help docs is sick. So sick. Love that. Can you talk about the interruption threshold? I'm starting to think 300 is better than low, but I'm not sure I've fully understood what it's doing. AI interruption threshold, I believe. I haven't really played around that much that I kind of just leave it on default setting. Is the amount of time that the AI will wait until it starts thinking about how it wants to respond. Or sorry, until it starts responding. Are there some big customer stories that you can share about and how Bland.AI is used? Next week, maybe not next week. In the future, there are big customers who have agreed to do showcases. Interruption threshold max at 200. No, you can pass in I'm pretty sure that you can increase it through the API. Yeah. You got the right thing down. Sorry, back to the big customer success stories. So we're internally calling these case studies. We have a customer that just agreed to do one actually. I don't know when it's happening. They're pretty big, pretty cool. Yeah. So hopefully that should be out at some point. You guys can kind of see some of our enterprise customers who are really using it at scale and experiencing a lot of success from that. I think what would be a really great addition, it's similar to the use case pathways creator, but a prompt creator, a use types the goal in and you run a tool to improve the prompt based off of your best practices and display it to the customer. That way you're getting better prompts and teaching customers what a good prompt looks like. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really funny you say that. I don't write any of my own prompts anymore. I like kind of use 4.0 and 3 and Sonnet to create my prompts. And I iterate on them and figure out, what's right and what's wrong based off those calls. And I think you're right. People should be able to. I mean, okay, so this is it's literally a conversation I just had, right? One of the things that I'm noticing about the way that people use Bland, not really you guys, because you guys are pretty much all technical, but people who are using Bland, they don't really want, like, using UI is great. And if the UI is designed well, then you can achieve like really, really good results, right? One of the things that I'm noticing that like my enterprise customers are doing with us is they'll get me into a call and they'll describe their problem. Um, they'll describe their problem and I'll kind of like just do that solution for them, like in front of them. Instead of and like what I kind of want to create as like a product is the ability to describe your problem to some sort of LLM and then seeing a bunch of proposed solutions to them. This is like a really abstract idea, but it's kind of something that I want to go going forward. So you test out your pathway, right? And then something would go wrong. You'd be like, why did it say this? This doesn't make any sense. Like I actually wanted to do this. And then you would kind of get like a proposed solution as to how to fix that. And then same thing with prompts as well, right? Give me feedback on how that sounds. I'm very interested. It'd be handy if on the send calls UI page in JSON mode, we could paste in JSON and have it update the UI options from that. It would let us quickly paste in JSON settings via the send calls page. Also, my stored prompts disappeared yesterday on the send calls page. Oh no. Okay, so one, I can get your prompts back if you've made calls with them. Two, I'm kind of confused at the first thing that you're asking. Are you talking about JSON mode, like UI options, like the way that the column, like what columns are showing and the way that you're filtering and stuff? Is that correct? I think that's a little bit of a technical problem. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. That's a weird bug. That's scary. Nice product. Please fix conversational pathways, constant issues past few days. Unfortunately, I'm going to need you to be a bit more specific if you want to fix those issues. But I haven't seen really any problems besides the one that I addressed at the beginning of this call, which was some JSON being included. It'd be nice to see the prompt used in the call logs. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. Kind of want like prompt IDs, like call settings. I don't know. That way your call adds suggestions around edge cases around their prompts. We noticed you haven't included a transfer to a human global node. Would you like to add one? Yeah, totally. That's a great idea. It's just really hard to figure out like when you should suggest these things. RE your LLM idea. If you could add a chat with logs, yeah. Yep. 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 Agreed. 100%. Exactly what I was thinking. Our logs on the bottom right are not that great. I want to make that better. But again, not really a high priority thing for me. Is there a way to play around with tonality when the voices are cloned? No, I don't think so. If you're cloning a voice, you can try speaking in that tonality that you want to speak in. Try that. Saying improving the speed of stalking me out from speaking when a person interrupts might have, yeah, me too. It's really hard problem actually. I did some research on the plane back to San Francisco last night about how a potential way that we can improve. It's called interruptions. Oh god, that's awesome. Is about how to improve interruptions. I have a game plan. Excuse me. I have a game plan. I also have a bunch of information so someone else can pick up on it. But like, just to kind of set up expectations, like, expectations of like how interruptions work. This is like a very open problem. People who are way smarter than me cannot figure this out, which is again why we want to hire a PhD to help do this stuff. Are you aware of any unsupported languages being still capable by your voices? Is that because you use multilingual data to train them, not specifically fine tune them? Um, uh, I don't really understand that question. If you don't mind rephrasing it. I've noticed that interruptions seem to happen when the transcript encounters a period at the end of a sentence. Might be my imagination, but seemed sort of consistent. When you talk about interruptions, you mean the AI interrupting the person? Yeah. So, like, okay, so let's like think about this problem like overall, right? There's a lot of really, really tricky things to get right about interruptions. And like as a person, as a human, you won't be able to get it right. Like if you're talking to someone over the phone, it's infinitely harder to figure out when they're done talking than if you're looking at them. So let's think about the things that actually matter when you're trying to figure out whether someone has finished like their thought. The context, their tone of voice, the intonation that they're speaking with, the amount of time it's taken before they've said their last word. That's just audio. Beyond that, like what their face looks like if they're about to move their face, like there's a lot of different things that you're looking at. And it's really, really, really hard to figure out what, when someone's finished talking. And there's not a perfect solution. It's just not. But there's a lot of active research that we're doing to try and make this better. And again, I have like this is like the thing I want. I want to do this. This is like interesting to me, right? Because I think if we make this better, it's like going to improve the product tenfold. It's just hard and requires a lot of like dedicated focus time working on it. Feature idea: dynamically adjust the interruption threshold based off of the user's average pause. How does that work with different people picking up the phone? Then we're starting to store user information on people on outbound and inbound, which is not really that good. You have voice capabilities in officially unsupported languages. I tried to understand how it is possible. Yeah, yeah. Voice capabilities in officially unsupported languages. The models that we're using for our response, like these are two different components. The speaking and um the speaking and the actual response. So yeah. On the call only, not average calls. Ooh, yeah. Okay. I like that idea. Would work for longer calls, but kind of seems like a really nice to have feature. Wait min 2 seconds after last utterance before interruption would make my life easier. Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Mind Bland Office, yes. After the webhook, the conversation doesn't go forward. It's because well, I can almost guarantee you that the webhook waits for a response from the user before going forward. Turn on skip interruption or skip user response, please. I don't see anything about adaptive interruption on the send calls API page. Got a reference? No, I was saying that doesn't exist. It would be nice if it did. Responsible disclosure policy with safe harbor clause at some point. Yeah, absolutely. We are actually getting that drafted up right now. I think. I don't know. That's not really my wheelhouse. Parallel conversation analyzer tweaking parameters for interruptions. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. It's a little bit more complex than that, but yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah. Just saw the tools interface is broken. We cannot check our custom tool anymore by the interface. Please open a ticket and at me every single day until I fix it. That's kind of how I'm doing this. Like, you guys just need to harass me until I promise I don't care if you harass me. Just I just need to keep remembering because there's so many things that I have to do. Squeakest wheel wins. Yep. We'll go till 35. You guys are asking some interesting questions. We're having a good conversation. I like talking more than I like actually implementing. Can you verify that the voice model used to generate the samples is the same and same settings as the live voice model? Sounded different to me. But others were saying probably compression, not sure. Yeah, definitely compression. Definitely compression. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Talking more. I like talking more than bug fixing. Like I said, I wish I could like delegate to an intern, you know? A lot of calls that I do occasionally via batch are completed, but they only last 0 to 1 seconds. The three things I can think of that you're running into, well, four things. One, use campaigns. Campaigns are just generally the better way of going about it. Two, you might be hitting rate limits. Three, we made a bunch of changes to batches that caused us to cancel a bunch of like existing batches last week. So if you still have issues with that, complain again. Four, I forget the fourth thing I was gonna say was, but those are the three responses that I would have. Build a Claude project called Intern, and you'll figure out some cool stuff to give it. It's basically what I'm doing now. Claude is basically my intern. Skipping user response helped. Awesome. Love to hear it. I think that option should be enabled by default for webhooks, to be honest. Every single time I've used webhooks, I've turned that option on. Default's a good idea for your demo project as well. Yep, totally. Totally. I actually think the demo project, like webhook, I don't even know if that's set up. I wonder if it's actually working. Be interesting to see. Remote users, unfortunately, no. Yeah, we're really sticklers about being in person, especially with like the pace that we're moving at. We want people to be in person. Where's Glenn based out of? San Francisco right now. No Austin office. I was actually just in Austin yesterday, actually. Where's Bland is based out of San Francisco. Our team is 10 right now, but actively expanding. 4 engineers. Sorry, 5 engineers, 1 AE. Yeah, no UX. That was hard to tell. I'm actually interviewing a front end engineer on Monday. So yeah. First sentence parameter for Bland.UI campaigns, just like how it is batch calling. There isn't. That's weird. Surprised by that. And that is a bug. There's like really bad inconsistencies in terms of like what it's definitely supported. There's just no UI for it. Is there a rate limit on API calls like call details? No, I don't know. Not sure. Do you think you're hitting rate limits, or is that just a question? ETA for when more enterprise inquiries. What do you mean by that? Just like response for an enterprise inquiry? Call analysis is billed via the API request. If you pass it in at the start, then no, it's not billed. Like it would not be added on. Sorry, that was very unclear. So there's two different ways you can do call analysis. You can make, I actually don't know if this is supported anywhere, so correct me if I'm wrong. You can make an API request with the call ID and the analysis that you want to get filled out. That's one way. I think that is billed. The other way is you can make when you originate the call, you pass in the preset ID. And that is not billed, I don't think. Probably should be, though. You tried to fill out the form a few months ago, something extra. Just wanted to know to start taking more clients for that. We have like a ton of inbound. It's really hard for us to filter on who we want to look at. It takes a really long time to do so. So there's probably, what I would say is that we've probably evaluated that you're not ready for enterprise yet. And yeah, that is something we're implementing literally right now. It's like I'm staring at the ticket for that. What is the pricing for the first method? Are there any other billable actions from call minutes? All I can find is by customized system manager. I actually, to be honest with you, I'm not sure. If I had to guess, it probably doesn't cost anything. Yep. Terms of service, totally. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna end here, guys. Because I'm getting a call from someone. If you have any more questions, definitely throw them in general, and I can listen to them. All right, guys. Have a good one. Have a nice rest of your day.